happy, like Mike's superior. Uptight, Mike said recently when I asked what the guy was like. But the lives of the saints, as well as those of great spiritual masters from almost every other religious tradition, show the opposite. Holy people are joyful. Why? Because holiness brings us closer to God, the source of all joy. Why am I so concerned with joy, humor, and laughter from a spiritual point of view? Why have I written an entire book on the subject? The reaction of those crowds is not the only thing that encouraged me to take up this topic. There was another phenomenon, equally persuasive, that I continually ran across. These virtues, yes, virtues, are often sadly lacking in religious institutions and in the ideas that good religious people have about religion. A little background may be in order. I've been a Catholic and a Christian my whole life, a Jesuit for over 20 years, and a priest for over 10. So I've spent a great deal of time living and working among those whom you could call professionally religious. Especially over the last 20 years, I've met men and women working in all manner of religious settings, in churches, synagogues, and mosques, retreat houses, religious high schools, colleges and universities, rectories, parish houses and chanceries, parish adult education programs, interfaith meetings, and religious gatherings of every stripe. And I have known, met, or spoken to thousands of religious people from almost every walk of life. In the process, I've come across a surprising number of spiritually aware people who are, in a word, grim. Not that I expect believers to be grinning idiots every moment of the day. Sadness is a natural and human reaction to tragedy, and many situations in life require, even demand, a serious approach. But I've met so many religious folks with sour faces that it makes me wonder why they seem to believe that the absence of joy is a necessary part of their spiritual lives. Many years ago, for example, a friend of mine lived with a Jesuit finishing his doctoral dissertation. One morning, when my friend greeted him, he replied glumly, "Please don't talk to me. I don't talk to anyone before lunchtime. My writing is just too stressful," and walked away. But being joy-challenged is not just the province of Jesuit priests and brothers, most of whom are cheerful sorts. Joylessness is non-denominational and interfaith. "My minister is such a grump," a Lutheran friend told me a few months ago, explaining what led her to search for another church. Last year I gave a talk to a large group of Catholics. After the talk, someone said approvingly, "You know, I actually saw our bishop laugh during your talk. I've never seen that before." She had been working with the bishop for 5 years. A certain element of such joylessness is probably related to personality types. Some of us are naturally more cheerful, optimistic, and upbeat. But after encountering the same brand of dejection over and over for 20 years in a wide variety of settings, I've reached the unscientific but I think accurate conclusion that underlying this gloom is a lack of belief in this essential truth: faith leads to joy. Moreover, this morose spirit has wormed its way into the culture of too many religious institutions. That is, it goes beyond the personal and moves into the communal realm. Why has this happened? A few reasons come to mind. First of all, our understanding of God is often one of a joyless judge. More about this later in the book, but suffice it to say that when you consider the grim spirit that pervades some church groups, it's no surprise that one of the most influential American sermons is Jonathan Edwards' 18th century tract, "Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God." In it, Edwards thunders, "There is no want of power in God to cast wicked men into hell at any moment." Quite an image of God, enough to wipe the smile off any believer's face. Second, and related to the first reason, the aim of religion is sometimes seen as one of overriding seriousness. We are to be concerned with our relationship to the Creator of the universe, our obligation not to sin, our adherence to a set of divinely ordained religious regulations, and, depending on terminology, our personal salvation, the last of which is worked out, as St. Paul said, with fear and trembling. These are hardly laughing matters, say some. Third, many religious organizations sometimes seem more concerned with sin than with virtue. Some religious leaders may believe that it's up to them to point out all the ways that their followers might fail, rather than to suggest the ways that they might flourish. Thus, the seemingly endless stream of "thou shalt nots" overshadows